The state's next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Carmen Lauber.
Ms. Lauber, if you would please step in front of Brittany, we'll get you sworn in.
If you'll please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the pains and penalties of perjury? Please have a seat.
Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Would you pull, you can sit wherever you're comfortable. If you would just pull the microphone closer to you, it's easier to move that than the chair.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see if that's close enough.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Glover.
What, ma'am, is your name?
Carmen Lauber.
Do you spell your last name Lauber?
Yes.
It's indelicate, but how old are you?
54.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a direct support intake. I work with people with disability.
Okay, ma'am, we're gonna have to get you to, hold on.
Just pull it to the edge of the...
Get it right up. Yeah, it's gonna be annoying to you.
Okay.
Push it back a little bit.
Yeah, that's like,
Okay.
it's like right here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, again, please, what do you do for a living?
I'm a direct support intake. I work with people with disability and mental challenges and stuff.
Do you have a history of drug use?
Yes.
When did that history begin?
6th grade, I was smoking pot, and then it just varied up through junior high and high school.
How did it vary up?
Through cocaine, through pot, through mushrooms, LSD, acid, just drinking stuff through junior high and high school.
Did it continue into adulthood?
Yes.
For how long?
For quite most of my adulthood.
Have you ever sold drugs?
Yes.
Do you have a criminal history involving drugs?
Yes.
Does it involve drug possession?
Yes.
Does it involve drug distribution?
Yes.
Do you have felony convictions for drug distribution?
Yes.
Are you currently on a type of probation for drug distribution?
Yes.
And are you on a probation for a felony drug distribution?
Yes.
Is that probation in Wasatch County's drug court?
Yes.
What is drug court?
Drug court is where you go in, they give you the tools to rehabilitate yourself. They give you groups, personal therapy, one-on-one treatment. They give you random UAs. They have you complete an MRT book. Just tools to rehabilitate yourself.
When you say UAs, is that urinalysis testing
Yes.
to see if you're hot for drugs?
Yes, we would call in daily, and you would either have a number or a color. And if your color or number was called, you had to get over to 5-minute clinic and do a UA.
And is the idea behind drug court that it's a rehabilitative program under court supervision?
Yes.
And that if you complete the rehabilitative part of the court supervision, there's some benefit to your pending charges?
Yes, it's a plea in advance.
Okay, and a plea in advance means it doesn't go down as a conviction.
It doesn't go on your record, yes.
Are you also pending charges in Wasatch County for marijuana possession and possession of a gun by a person who's prohibited from possessing a gun?
Yes.
Are you sober now?
Yes.
How long, ma'am, have you been sober?
A little over 4 years.
Is that the longest time in your life since 6th grade that you have been sober?
Absolutely. Except for the time I was pregnant. It's the only time I quit, and then I'd go back to being high. But yes, 4 years, a little 4 years.
Ms. Lauber, I apologize for interrupting. We're going to make a small adjustment. Turn the mic a little bit towards me. We just need to line up with your face a little better. There. And then pull it forward maybe 1 inch. There you go.
I feel like it's jumping out.
Yeah, you just, and you can lower it
Okay.
a little if that's a little more comfortable. There you go. Please.
Are you represented by a lawyer in connection with your testimony here today?
Yes, I am.
Are you testifying pursuant to several grants of immunity today?
Yes.
Is one of those grants of immunity in a letter from Summit County?
Yes.
Is one of those grants of immunity in a letter from Salt Lake County?
Yes.
Is one of those grants of immunity in a letter from the federal government?
Yes.
And is there also an understanding between you and Wasatch County, or at least your attorney and Wasatch County, that there's immunity for the gun and the marijuana in Wasatch County?
Yes.
And do you have those 4 grants of immunity because you have committed crimes in connection with this case in all 4 of those jurisdictions?
Yes.
What is your understanding of those immunity agreements?
Really key witness here who's expected to testify about possibly allegedly supplying drugs to this defendant. We do have to take a break. We will be back more with key testimony there out of Utah and the Kouri Richins murder trial when we come back.
This is the story of the Richins. Eric, a father of 3, met an untimely end, and Kouri, his widow, wrote a children's book on grief.
She's also charged now with his murder.
He was faced with betrayal and terror.
I know her innocence.
Is their story a tragic romance?
Or a twisted tale of grief?
The truth will come out.
The Grief Author Murder Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings, 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
Now back to Utah for more testimony in the Kouri Richins murder trial. Prosecutors say that Richins killed her husband by spiking his drink with a lethal dose of fentanyl. On the stand right now is the family's housekeeper who told detectives that she sold the defendant fentanyl pills. Let's watch.
What is your understanding of those immunity agreements?
With proceeding forward with the truth, and there will be no charges filed back on me.
Do you understand that they require you, in order to avoid criminal exposure, they require you to testify today truthfully?
Yes.
Do they require you to testify today fully?
Yes.
Regardless of who's asking you the questions?
Yes.
And that if you don't testify truthfully and fully, you could lose all of that immunity?
Yes.
Did your lawyer assist you in getting that immunity?
Yes.
Did he advise you of the potential criminal exposure you face if you lose that immunity?
Yes.
I need you to speak up just a little.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. I need to remind you from time to time.
Yeah, because
It's not personal.
just like, yeah, you're fine.
Did you interview with investigators before you got immunity in those cases?
Yes.
About how many times?
Six times? 6 or 7 times.
And over the course of those 6 or 7 times, before you had immunity, about how many hours total did you speak with investigators?
Give or take 10, 15 hours.
Why did you speak with investigators before you were granted immunity?
Well, after they told me what I was being held for, sorry, I wanted to make sure it was the right thing to do, if this is actually what happened.
What do you mean, if this is actually what happened?
They told me that Eric had died of
Objection, hearsay.
Your Honor,
What are we?
All right, a quick sidebar there. So let's bring in Michelle Thomas watching along with you, trial attorney, family law attorney. Okay, so clearly they're establishing credibility, right? Because they know the defense is going to question her immunity and what she's about to testify to.
Absolutely. And typically you see this type of rehabilitation of a witness on redirect, but the prosecution is trying to get ahead of it because they know the obvious cross-examination questions are going to attack her credibility, say that allegedly she is just testifying to what the prosecutors wanted to testify in exchange for immunity. And then also you add to that that she does have a criminal background and history. All of that just sort of makes the credibility crumble in the eyes of the jury. So the prosecution is very wisely getting ahead of that by saying that she interviewed with the investigators even before she was offered immunity, which is a powerful point.
Michelle Thomas, you've been a friend of the program since the relaunch of Court TV. We appreciate you. Thank you. Let's go back into court.
Let's continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Lauber, I just asked you why you testified before you had been granted immunity. You started to say that the investigators told you that Eric had died. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you please pick up your testimony from there?
When they had first told me that, when they first mentioned that Eric, I already knew Eric had passed away. But when they had mentioned that it was from an overdose, that hit hard. Only for the fact that if that's what happened, I needed to step up and take accountability of my part in this that happened and what I was asked for. At first, it took a minute to process everything. Sorry.
That's fine. Is it fair to summarize, though, that you interviewed with investigators before you had immunity, in part to take accountability for your part in Eric's death?
Yes.
Was another part of the reason you spoke with investigators prior to a grant of immunity was that you hoped you would eventually get some benefit, some grant of immunity?
Yes.
Before you interviewed with investigators prior to the grant of immunity, right, the 6 interviews over 10 to 15 hours, had you consulted with an attorney?
No.
Had you reviewed any materials to prepare for those interviews?
No, I was in jail. I was in, yeah.
Did you meet with your lawyer to prepare for testifying today?
No, I didn't meet him. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm confused. Sorry, ask the question.
I'll ask it again. To get ready for today, did you meet with your lawyer?
No. Oh, yes, sorry, in the back.
Approaching the top of the hour, don't go anywhere. Coming up, more key testimony from the Richins housekeeper who has immunity for her testimony in Utah. This is Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice. This is Court TV Live. I'm your host for this hour, Matt Johnson. Thanks for being with us. It's a busy day. Let's take a look at the trials we are tracking from coast to coast here at Court TV. In Georgia, the state could rest its case in chief today in the trial for Colin Gray. He's the father accused of giving his son a gun used in a deadly mass shooting at a school that left 4 dead. In Michigan, it's day 9 of testimony in the murder trial for Dale Warner. Prosecutors say that he killed his wife Dee, then concealed her body in a fertilizer tank on their property. In the state of Utah, Kouri Richins' murder trial heating up with more testimony. She is the children's book author accused of poisoning her husband with a deadly dose of fentanyl. Right now, the jury is listening to key testimony from the family housekeeper who allegedly sold drugs to this defendant. Let's go back in.
Not just today. Let me just ask Jeremy. To prepare, you knew today was going to come, right?
Oh, yes.
In order to get ready for today, over the course of the several weeks or months, have you met with your lawyer to prepare to testify like you are now?
Yes.
In the course of that preparation, did you review any materials so that you would be ready?
Yes.
What did you review?
Some of my testimonies when I was in jail and some pictures and data from cell phones and
Ma'am, did you know Kouri Richins?
yes.
How did you know her?
I worked for her aunt for LTD's personal house cleaning.
And as part of working for Kouri Richins' aunt's house cleaning business, did you clean Kouri Richins' home?
Yes. Every other Friday, unless she needed an extra clean or a deep clean.
About how long did you know Kouri Richins?
I worked for her aunt for 9 years.
And did you know Kouri Richins that whole 9 years?
Yes. We got to know each other throughout the years.
Did you also perform other cleaning services for Kouri Richins?
Yes, when I wasn't working for Doreen, I reached out to her and asked her if she had any house cleaning or landscaping or anything that she needed help with.
Did you ever discuss your drug history with Kouri Richins?
Yes.
How so?
We just talk about how how I was going in drug court and when I would graduate, and she would reach out and ask how things were going, or if we'd run into each other. I'd tell her I'm almost graduating.
And that's the drug court in Wasatch County?
Yes.
When did you go into drug court in Wasatch County?
Late 21. I had my evaluation in 2019, and I entered in late 2021.
So then am I right that your drug court discussions with Kouri Richins would have been while you were in drug court beginning in late 2021?
Yes.
Did you know Eric Richins?
Yes.
How did you know him?
I cleaned his house, and he'd come in and he would joke with us that we were there a little later than what we should have been. And he'd tell us, get out of here, we're working past 5 o'clock, it's time to go home. I've gone to their house with my grandkids on a barbecue when it was one of their sons' birthdays with her aunt.
Did you know that Eric Richins owned a stonemasonry business?
Yes.
Did you know any of the workers that he employed in that business?
No.
Did Kouri Richins ever ask you to purchase for her illicit drugs?
Yes.
How many times?
4.
Did you purchase illicit drugs for her?
Yes.
How many times?
4.
When you purchased illicit drugs for Kouri Richins the first time, who did you purchase the drugs from?
Susan Kohler.
When you purchased Kouri Richins drugs the second time, who did you purchase the drugs from?
Robbie.
By Robbie, do you mean Robert Crosier?
Yes.
How about the third time?
Robbie.
The fourth time?
Robbie.
Let's please begin with the first purchase of drugs for Kouri Richins from Susan Kohler, okay? How did Kouri Richins approach you about purchasing drugs?
She had reached out and asked if I could do her a favor, and I said, yeah, probably, what is it? And then she had called me and asked me if I could reach out to somebody for some pain meds for an investor that she knew. And I told her I could see what I could do. So I knew Susan Kohler was still using at the time, an active user still. And then Susan Kohler reached back and told me she knew somebody that had some pain meds.
Ms. Lauber, I need you to speak up. Thank you.
Sorry.
How did you know Susan Kohler?
She used to work, she was working for Doreen at the time.
And how did you know Susan Kohler was an active user at that time?
That's one of the reasons why I quit working with Doreen, because they were still active users.
So you had worked with her at the time?
Yes.
Knew she was an active user?
Over the year, yeah.
When did Kouri Richins approach you that first time to get drugs?
February 11th, February 10th, right around there.
Was it February or was it January?
Was it early February?
Early February?
In January, early February.
I'm so sorry, Ms. Lauber. I'm sitting within 3 feet of you and I can't hear what you're saying. I just need you to speak louder.
Okay.
Thank you. Like louder than you just did.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
We're going to treat that as the floor. It's that point and louder, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so sorry.
It's okay.
About what time? Month? Beginning month, end of month? Was it end of January, early February, late February? When was it?
Early February.
And would that be 2022?
Yes.
How about the money for the drugs? Did Kouri Richins front you money for the drugs?
For Susan?
For Susan, I'm only talking about Susan
Okay.
Kohler now. I think that might be confusing.
Yeah, no.
I'm only talking about Susan Kohler.
Okay. No, she did not. I had given Susan the money.
Okay, how much money?
$600.
What drugs did you ask Susan Kohler? What type of drug did you ask Susan Kohler for on Kouri Richins' behalf?
Just some kind of pain pillar, an opiate.
Okay. And you gave Susan Kohler $600 of your money?
Yes.
What in return did Susan Kohler give you?
A couple hours later, she had returned back to my house with an envelope full of pills.
Okay, what type of envelope?
Just a mailing envelope.
A normal letter?
Just a white envelope, yeah.
Okay. Did you look in the envelope?
No.
How did you know it was full of pills?
Susan told me that's what was in there.
Did you feel the envelope?
Yeah.
Did it feel like there were pills in it?
Yeah, they were just little round pills.
What did you do next?
Then I had text Kouri and told her that I had got some pills for her and asked her what she wanted me to do with them. Told me she would, it was late when Susan returned, so she showed up in my driveway the next morning.
Okay, when you say she showed up in your driveway,
Kouri.
Kouri Richins showed up in your driveway the next morning.
Yes.
Did you hand Kouri Richins the pills that next morning in your driveway?
Yes.
Did she give you any money for those pills?
Yes. She gave me back the $600 that I put up for them.
You mentioned you have this part of this transaction with Kouri Richins and Susan Kohler involved text messages. Do you have any of those text messages?
No.
Do you know what happened to those text messages?
I deleted them.
Why?
Because if I had lost my phone or anybody else got a hold of my phone or anybody in drug court wanted to see my phone, it was evidence that I was not following drug court rules. I was still involved with people that were using.
It was evidence that you're dealing drugs,
and
right?
Participating in selling drugs.
Let's talk about the second time that you purchased drugs for Kouri Richins, which is the, am I right, the first time you purchased them from Robert Crosier?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about that first purchase from Robert Crosier. How did Kouri Richins approach you on that purchase?
She had reached out to me in text message, said that her investor needed or wanted something stronger. And I kind of told her, well, I can reach out to the people I don't know. You just can't say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. When you're buying drugs off the street, you pretty much purchase what you get. And at the time, I didn't know anybody, so I reached out to another acquaintance that I knew that was still using, which would be Nicole.
Okay. You reached out. We have to keep your voice up, please.
What's that?
Can you keep your voice up, please?
Yes.
Okay. So you reached out to an acquaintance of yours, Nicole, that you knew was still using, right?
Yes, at the time.
And is that Nicole Cummings?
Yes.
How did you reach out initially? How did you reach out to Nicole Cummings?
On Facebook Messenger.
Scott, can I get 3-3, please?
Can you feel it? This is a make or break moment for the state of Utah. Their whole case is basically built on this person's testimony. And wow, the demeanor of this defendant. Let me know what you think. Is she believable? What do you think about this testimony? Let me know on social media at Matt Johnson News. We'll be right back. This is Court TV Live.
This is the story of the Richins. Eric, a father of 3, met an untimely end, and Kouri, his widow, wrote a children's book on grief.
She's also charged now with his murder.
He was faced with betrayal and terror.
I know her innocence.
Is their story a tragic romance?
Or a twisted tale of greed?
The truth will come out.
The Grief Author Murder Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings, 8/7 Central on Court TV.
Big day there in Utah for day 4 of testimony in the Kouri Richins murder trial. The children's book author accused of killing her husband, Eric, with a lethal dose of fentanyl back in 2022. Let's get you back into court now, where the Richins housekeeper is on direct. And remember, she just told the jury that she provided pills to this defendant.
Ms. Lauber, Lauber, do you recognize that document as a Facebook exchange that you had with Miss Cummings?
Yes, it's off my Facebook Messenger.
And is that an accurate depiction of the exchange you had with Miss Cummings?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves 3-3 in the evidence.
No objection.
States 3-3 is admitted. Would you like to publish, Mr. Lauber?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Lauber, do you see there, blown up out of 3-3, where it says, text me, I got a question and won't do it on this?
Yes.
Did you send that message by Facebook to Miss Cummings?
Yes.
And it says on February the 5th, 2022. Is that when you sent it?
Yes.
Why did you send that message?
I was going to ask her if she knew anybody that had any pills.
And you didn't want to ask her over Facebook?
No.
Why not?
Because once again, that's showing what I'm trying to buy. Illegal activities of buying drugs.
We couldn't hear that, I'm sorry.
Illegal activity of buying drugs.
Thanks, Scott. Did you ultimately speak to Miss Cummings over the phone?
Yes, I did.
And what did you ask her?
If she knew anybody who had any opiate pills for sale.
And how did she respond?
She said yes, she had a friend that could help me.
And did she identify the friend?
Yeah, she gave me his name. She said Robbie.
And is that the Robert Crosier you've mentioned before?
Yes, it is.
Did she put you in contact with Robert Crosier?
Yes, she gave me his number.
Did you call Robert Crosier?
Yes, I did.
What, if anything, did you ask Robert Crosier for?
If he knew anybody who had any pills, pain pills for sale.
And how did he respond?
He said he would reach out to a couple of people.
Did he ever get back to you after that?
Yes, he did.
When he got back to you, what did he say?
He said he had a buddy that had some fentanyl pills.
What then did you do?
I had texted Kouri back and told her that I had a friend that could get them, but they were fentanyl pills.
So you told Kouri you had a friend, a hookup for fentanyl pills?
Yes.
How did Kouri Richins respond?
She said, okay, go ahead and get them.
So, did you go ahead and get them?
Yes.
What was the next step in getting them?
The next step was reaching out to Robbie and telling them to go ahead and get them.
Did you arrange a time and location to purchase the pills from Robbie?
Robbie did, actually.
Okay.
Because he was coming up from up north. So he had me go to a Maverick off 126th in Draper. It was closer to his person.
Let me maybe do this one more time. The text messages between you and Robbie, do you have them?
No.
Are they deleted?
Yes.
Did you delete them?
Yes.
Because they were evidence of drug distribution?
Yes.
Objection leading.
I think you're going to testify about a lot of text messages. Did you delete them all?
Yes.
For the same reason?
Exactly.
Okay, so you set up to purchase fentanyl from Robert Crosier at the Maverick in Draper.
Yes.
Did you front the money for these?
No. That was more, way higher.
How much money was involved in this transaction?
$1,000.
How did the money come about?
So I reached out to Kouri and told her yes, that it was going to be kind of pricey. And then so I asked her how she wanted me to grab them. I had to go to the house in Midway, not the mansion, it was a Midway house that she was flipping. And the money would be in there.
Okay. So, let me make sure I understand. Kouri Richins said she would leave you $1,000 at a small house in Midway.
Yes.
Scott, can I get 8-12, please? Ms. Lauber, do you recognize this photograph?
Yes, I do.
Is that the small house in Midway that you're thinking of?
Yes.
Is that an accurate depiction of the small house?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves to admit 8-12.
No objection.
812 is admitted.
Ms. Lauber, did you enter that house and get the $1,000?
Yes, I did.
How did you enter the house?
Kouri told me the back door was unlocked.
Was it?
Yes.
Did you enter through the back door?
Yes, I did.
Where inside the house was the money?
In a closet in a box with a couple of coffee cups.
Thanks, Scott. So once you got the money, what did you do next?
I had called Robbie and told him, okay, I had the money. How long it would take him to get down from where he was coming from.
This is the state's star witness. We have to talk about it. Let's bring in my guest for this hour, trial attorney Alexis Rosenberg, watching along with you at home. Battle lines are clear here. It's Carmen versus Kouri.
What it breaks down to most of the time, Matt, when we're in a trial. So yeah, we've got the boxing gloves out. She's got to shine, and I just don't know that she's shining. I mean, she's basically saying that she brought the drugs there, but we don't have any proof. She keeps saying, oh, I deleted it because I was in drug court. Where's the proof?
Yeah, I want the receipts, especially if I'm on this jury talking about a life sentence here in the highest accusation that you can get of killing somebody. So, how is she coming across, though, despite the fact that she doesn't have receipts, no text messages? Do you find her truthful at all?
She's coming across, I'm kind of mid with her right now. I'm not quite sure. But I have to say that I'm not necessarily finding that she's possibly necessarily lying yet. It may come. But I do want those receipts, Matt.
Yeah, I do too. And I do want to talk to you about the change in this defendant's demeanor, but we have to get a short break. So we will talk about that the next time. All right, still ahead. The Kouri Richins murder trial heating up there in Utah. You have noticed this. Kouri Richins, very animated. Let us know what you think on social media. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Matt Johnson. Thanks for being with us. Let's head back to Utah together for more testimony in the Kouri Richins murder trial. After her husband had died, Richins wrote a children's book about dealing with grief. But now she's on trial, accused of killing him with a deadly dose of fentanyl. Let's get you back into court now. Still on the stand is the state's star witness, the family's housekeeper, who just testified that she sold this defendant some fentanyl.
Drive to the Maverick and Draper?
I didn't drive at the time. I didn't have a car.
Who drove? Did somebody drive you to the Maverick?
Yes, Nancy.
Okay. Is Nancy Peters?
Yes.
Where did she drive? Where did she pick you up?
At my house in Heber, off of Center Street.
And then she drove you from your house in Heber to Maverick and Draper?
Yes, down Provo Canyon.
Down Provo Canyon. Scott, can I get 3-7, please? Ms. Lauber, do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
Is that an extraction of your some photographs from your cell phone?
Yes, it is.
Is that an accurate depiction of the photographs extracted from your cell phone?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves 3-7 into evidence.
Your Honor, we'd object. I don't think that Ms. Lauber can identify the Celebrite. The Celebrite hasn't even been introduced into evidence. I suppose she could introduce the photos if they want to pull up the photos separately, but she can't identify the Celebrite, which is not
She can identify them as photos from her cell phone, correct?
I think she can, yes, as photos from her cell phone if they want to show the photos without it being on the Celebrite extraction.
Okay. For the moment, Scott, can you...
Your Honor, we're going photo by photo as D1, D2, D3.
Let's do that. We'll come back to this. I'm sorry, counsel, my apologies. Will you approach briefly?
Shocking, another sidebar in this case. Let's bring in our guest for this hour, trial attorney Alexis Rosenberg. All right, so the defendant's demeanor. Do you think that she is pulling the strings behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, Matt, she is making some faces, isn't she? So, I mean, she's definitely got input and she's making comments. So was she pulling the strings behind the scenes at the time? I mean, that is what the prosecution wants to say.
Yeah, and you know what? It appears like she wants to be an attorney herself. When they found that walk the dog letter, they also found classes that she wanted to attend for law school. So we'll see how that goes. All right, the sidebar's over. Let's go back in.
Ms. Lauber, those 4 photographs, do you recall where you were or where you were traveling to and from when they were taken?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what?
Can you see 3-7 on your screen?
Yes.
If we scroll down, I think is it 3 or 4 photographs, Scott? Can you scroll down? Oh, there's a whole bunch. There's 6 photographs.
I see 3 on mine.
Scroll up. There's 2 pages with 3 each, is that right?
There's total 6, yes.
Okay. And do you know where those photographs were taken?
In Nancy's car.
As you were driving from Heber to Provo Canyon? Or from Heber down through Provo Canyon to the Maverick and Draper?
Yes.
And do you see the time? Scott, if you can bring one up. Do you see the time
oh, yes.
and day on?
Yes, I do.
February the 11th, 2022, beginning at 5 p.m.?
Yes.
Is that an accurate date and time for those photographs?
Yes.
Your Honor, or actually, Scott, can I get 3-7 Delta 1? Is that one of those photographs?
Yes, it is.
Can I get Scott 3-7 Delta 2, please? Is that another one?
Yes, it is.
3-7 Delta 3, please. Are those 3 photographs accurate depictions?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves 3-7 Delta 1, Delta 2, and Delta 3 into evidence.
No objection.
3-7, D1, D2, and D3 are admitted.
Can we publish Scott 3-7 D1? that you in the photograph?
Yes.
Who's the dog?
That is my silver lab, Hemi.
And whose car are you in?
Nancy's.
And who's driving that car?
Nancy.
Hey, D2, please, Scott. Is that you and Nancy Peterson?
Yes, it is.
Can I get D3, Scott? Another photograph of you and Nancy Peterson?
Yes, it is.
In Nancy Peterson's car?
Yes.
Driving to meet up with Robert Crosier at the Draper Maverick on February the 11th, 2022?
Yes.
Meeting, Your Honor.
He's already laid foundation. Overruled.
On the way down, thanks, Scott. On the way down Provo Canyon to the Draper, did you text with Mr. Crosier?
Yes, I did.
What was the content of those texts?
Just how far out are you? How long is it going to take?
On the way down Provo Canyon, were you texting with Kouri Richins?
Yes.
What was the context of those texts?
Sorry, it's taken long. I'm headed there now. I'll let you know when I leave the Maverick.
Did you end up meeting with Mr. Crosier at the Maverick?
Yes, I did.
What happened once you two met there?
He would text me and tell me what kind of vehicle he was in. I would tell him what I was in. He came up to the window. I gave him the money. He told me he'd be back like in 20, 25 minutes. And then he left the Maverick.
So the money that you gave him was the $1,000 you got from that small Midway house?
Yes.
Did he ultimately return?
Yes, he came back.
Did he have anything with him when he returned?
Yes, he did.
What did he have with him?
He handed me a little clear baggie with some pills in it, little round pills.
Can you describe, please, the baggie?
Just a little clear baggie. Clear like a plastic cup clear. You could see it through it.
Okay. Small, big, do you like?
Just a small.
What's small?
Kind of small, like, you know, if you buy a shirt and it has an extra button in it, that kind of size.
Gotcha. Did you see about how many pills were inside that baggie?
No, I didn't sit there and count them. It was 15 to 20 is what he told me.
Did you said they were circular?
Yes, just round.
Did you notice their color?
Kind of light green.
What did you do once he gave you the pills?
Left.
Left to where?
Back up through Provo Canyon, back up to my house in Heber.
On the way back to your home in Heber, did you exchange text messages with Kouri Richins?
Yes, I did.
What was the content of those messages?
I let her know that I had him. What did she want me to do with them? I really didn't want them with me at my house.
Did she tell you what she wanted you to do with those pills?
She responded back with, take them over to the Midway house, put them in a shed. There was 3 sheds on that property. I didn't feel comfortable leaving them in the shed out in the open. So I went to the fire pit and kind of dug a little hole and put the gravel back on top of it and then kind of turned a brick to the side to kind of cover it up.
Scott, can you bring up 8-13, please? Ms. Lauber, do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
What does it depict?
That is the house in Midway.
Is it the backyard of the house?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of that backyard?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves 813 into evidence.
No objection.
8-13.
All right, we're going to hit the pause button right there. You're not going to miss a thing. Straight ahead, more testimony from this housekeeper who says that she provided pills to this defendant, Kouri Richins. This is Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice.
This is the story of the Richins. Eric, a father of 3, met an untimely end and Kouri, his widow, wrote a children's book on grief.
She's also charged now with his murder.
He was faced with betrayal and terror.
I know her innocence.
Is their story a tragic romance?
Or a twisted tale of greed?
The truth will come out.
The Grief Author Murder Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings, 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Matt Johnson. Let's head back to Utah for day 4 of testimony in the Kouri Richins murder trial. Prosecutors say that Richins killed her husband by spiking his drink with a lethal dose of fentanyl. Still on the stand is Richins' former housekeeper, who told the jury that she provided pills to this defendant, including fentanyl, 4 separate times. Let's go back in.
Admitted.
Scott, if you could zoom. Is that the shed that you just referenced?
Yes.
Is that the fire pit that you just referenced?
Yes, it is.
So you put the pills that Robert Crosier sold you, the Draper Maverick, in that fire pit?
Yes.
There's no fire at the time?
Not at the time, no. There was no fire.
Thanks, sir. I want to pause on the drug deals for a minute, okay? So we've got the Susan Kohler drug deal, the first Crosier drug deal, right? I'm going to pause. Scott, can you bring up 2-33, please? Can you split screen it with 2-34, please? Ms. Lauber, do you recognize those 2 documents?
Yes, I do.
What are they?
Letters from Kouri saying I did some community hours.
Did Kouri Richins give you those letters?
Yes, she did.
Are they accurate depictions of the letters that she handed you?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, the state moves 233 and 234 into evidence.
No objection other than previous objection that is ongoing.
It's preserved by the record. It's been ruled upon. Court stands upon that ruling. Forgive me, the 2-33 and 2-34 are admitted.
Can we publish those, Scott, please, and split screen? You mentioned, Ms. Lauber, that those are community service. Those are letters, I guess, evidencing, perhaps, community service.
Yes.
What's the genesis?
So sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
Yeah, we just need you to speak a little louder.
What's the genesis of these letters? Why these letters?
I was late for a couple of groups, so I got sanctioned from drug court to do 10 hours of community service.
Okay. So groups, do you mean group therapy sessions?
Yes.
And because you were late to court-ordered, they're court-ordered, aren't they?
Yes.
Because you were late to court-ordered group therapy sessions in drug court, am I right, the judge sanctioned you to community service?
Yes.
Then did you approach Kouri Richins about getting community service letters?
I had asked her if she knew anywhere I could get a letter with the head on it saying that I did some community hours.
Okay. Scott, maybe pick the one on the left and blow it up so that we can just read it a little bit easier. Thank you. Is the other one similar? Maybe you just Flip it out, yep. Ms. Lauber, did Kouri Richins hand you those letters?
Yes.
Did you perform that community service?
Absolutely not.
Have you ever stepped foot on a Circle R ranch?
No, I have not.
Did you submit those community service letters to the drug court in Wasatch County?
Yes, I did.
How'd that go?
Not too well. I ended up in jail for a day and got more community hours.
Ms. Lauber, you were in drug court on a felony drug distribution charge, right?
Yes.
You just testified that you bought drugs for Kouri Richins.
Yes.
Which is more drug distribution, right?
Yes.
And you just submitted a fake letter, 2 fake letters, to the drug court judge, right?
Yes.
Why on earth would you do that?
Well, I obviously didn't have time to do my community hours because I was reaching out to Robbie Crosier and picking up pills.
But why would you try to put one over on the court at all?
In the early stages of addiction, when you're slowly getting clean, you still test the waters. You're not ready to surrender yet. You're not sure about how much you can get away with and what you can't get away with.
So at that point in time, did you think you could get away with more drug distribution and fake letters?
No, not get away with it.
But you tried?
Yes, I did.
Have you since surrendered to drug court?
Absolutely.
Let's turn back to the drug deals. We've been through the first one with Ms. Kohler, then the second drug deal, but the first drug deal with Robert Crosier. Let's turn to the second drug deal with Robert Crosier, okay? You all right? Want to take a minute?
No.
Did there come a time when Kouri Richins again approached you for illicit drugs?
Yes.
If you want to take a minute, let me know.
No, I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay.
Bombshell testimony right there. Still with us here to discuss trial attorney Alexis Rosenberg. You're at Litigation Lex. I'm at Matt Johnson News. Twitter world, universe is blowing up with this testimony. People are saying that she is showing more emotion than this defendant, that the defendant is looking very nervous. What are your thoughts? I'm almost thinking that this is the testimony that might propel her to testify.
Well, here's the problem. Now we have testimony that she's forging documents that are going to the court, that she knew were going to the court. So that's problematic. Also, it calls into question, I mean, we've got a housekeeper that's a known drug addict, around children, by the way, and who is purchasing drugs for this defendant. So we've got credibility with regard to the defendant if she gets on that stand.
Yeah, and in short, you know, what are you expecting from the cross if we get there today?
Well, if we get there today, I think they're going to go towards, you know, they have to go and hit her with her credibility. She's a drug addict. Is she really clean? I don't know if she's clean. I'm questioning that. I'm sure the jury is too, as we sit here today. But they're going to go towards that she's, you know, that what she's saying isn't true. But, you know, what jumps out at me is even with these drugs, the drugs could have still been for both of them.
Yeah, you know, you've always been such a great friend to the program, great legal analysis. Alexis Rosenberg, thank you so much for being with us today. Coming up, more testimony out of that court there, and also Ashley Wilcott will join me for more in the Kouri Richins murder trial.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Judge Ashley Wilcott.
And I'm Matt Johnson. Happy to be on with you. Let's begin this hour in Utah for day 4 of testimony in the Kouri Richins murder trial.
That's right, Matt. The mother of 3 is accused of killing her husband, Eric, with 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl back in March of 2022.
Prosecutors say that she killed him for money. She was in debt with millions and needed her husband's life insurance policies.
But her defense claims that Eric had drug problems and consumed the fentanyl through a THC gummy that he had taken that night.
Let's get you back into court now for more key testimony from the housekeeper. Let's watch.
Do you recall about when that second time with Mr. Crosier was?
Still in favor. I'm not exactly sure of the date.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Would you just say whatever you just said again a little bit louder?
I said I'm not quite sure of the date.
When Kouri Richins approached you that second time involving Mr. Crosier, what did she ask for?
She said her investor needed something a little bit stronger. And I proceed to tell her, like, it's not something you can just, when you're buying something off the street that's man-made, you just don't say, hey, this is what I want to order. I just told her you get what you get.
Did there come a time when she asked you for the Michael Jackson stuff?
Yes.
Was that this time?
Yes.
What did you understand the Michael Jackson stuff to mean?
I actually wasn't sure. I had to Google it.
So you said there was ultimately this third buy from Robert Crosier. Did Kouri Richins give you the money up front for the third buy?
Yes, it was in the Midway house still.
Was it the same way she?
Same little house in Midway.
Okay.
Back door.
Did you enter the back door of that little house in Midway?
Yes.
Did you get some money?
Yes.
Do you remember about how much?
About $1,000.
Was it cash?
Yes.
Was it cash the other time also?
Yes.
Once you got the $1,000 out of the small Midway house, what did you do?
I texted Robbie.
What did you say? What did you set up with Robbie over text?
Just saying, hey, does your friend still have any of those left? And then of course, it doesn't happen right then and there. I could text him and he'd say, I'll get back to you in a couple of days, I'll see what I can find out. So then when Robbie texted me back, I let Kouri know that I could get him, and then head back down, had Nancy take me once again down Provo Canyon to the Maverick on 126th.
Just like the time before?
Yes.
Like before, were you texting with Robert Crosier on the way down the canyon?
Yes.
And what was the content of those texts?
Same texts. How much longer? How far out are you? Because he always had to find a ride as well.
Were you texting on the way down Provo Canyon with Kouri Richins?
Yes.
What was the content of those texts?
Same thing. Sorry it's taken long. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'll keep you posted.
When you arrived at the Maverick, were you still texting with both Robert Crosier and Kouri Richins?
Yes, I would text Robbie and tell him I'm here at the Maverick. How much farther out are you?
And what would you text?
I would text Kouri, sorry he's taken longer than I thought.
And you deleted all of those texts?
Of course.
Did you ultimately meet up with Robert Crosier at the Draper that second time?
Yes.
What happened when you met up?
Same routine. He'd come up to the car, I'd give him the money, he'd leave again for 20, 25 minutes, then he'd come back. And then he'd give me the little clear baggie with pills in it, and then we'd go our separate ways.
Can you please describe the baggie?
Clear little baggie. Just a small little clear baggie. As if you were putting an extra bun in it.
Same as last time?
Yes.
Do you recall about how many pills?
15 to 20. I never stopped and counted them, but that's what you told me was in the baggie.
Were they round again?
Yes.
What color were they?
A lighter blue.
Once you received the pills from Robert Crosier, what did you do?
Texted Kouri and told her I was headed back up Provo Canyon. And sorry it was getting late, so what does she want me to do with them?
Okay. Did you text with Kouri Richins on your way back up Provo Canyon to Heber?
Yes.
When you got back up to Heber, what did you do?
I went to my house in Heber.
Did you still have the pills with you?
Yes.
What ultimately did you do with the pills?
Well, it was Nancy that drove me, so I had taken her to my house. Oh, wait, hold on, I'm getting confused. Hold on a sec.
Take a minute.
This is a lot. Hold on. Sorry, you can repeat the question.
So, sure. The second buy from Robert Crosier, you went back up Provo Canyon to your house in Heber. Nancy Peterson was driving, right?
Yeah.
And you had the pills with you when you arrived back at your home in Heber. And the question is, what did you do with the pills?
I had them with me.
Did you hold on to them?
Yes, I did.
For how long?
I had given Nancy a couple for taking me, because that was her drug of choice at the time. Not very long.
What did you do with them?
I reached out to Kouri and asked her what she wanted me to do with them, because I didn't like having them on me.
What did she respond?
That she would come pick them up.
Did she?
Yes, she did.
Where did she pick them up?
In my house, in Heber, in my driveway.
Ms. Lauber, you should speak up.
She picked him up in my house, in my driveway, in Heber.
Okay, so we've been through the first purchase from Susan Kohler, and the first purchase from Robert Crosier, the second purchase from Robert Crosier.
Yes.
And that second purchase was the end of February?
Yes.
Before Eric Richins' death, did you buy any other drugs from Robert Crosier?
Yes.
Before Eric Richins' death?
Oh, no. There was just... Wait, now you confused me. Can you ask me again?
Ms. Lauber, my apologies. Pause for 1 second. Pull that mic a little closer to you. We're having trouble hearing you. If you would re-ask that question, Mr. Bloodworth, please.
Yes. You testified about 2 drug buys from Robert Crosier, right?
Yes.
Other than those 2 drug buys, before Eric Richins' death, did you ever buy drugs from Robert Crosier before?
Have I ever bought any from him?
Do you remember when Eric Richins died?
Early March.
Before Eric died, how many times did you buy drugs from Robert Crosier?
Twice.
All right, Matt, there we go. She just testified that she says she sold fentanyl to the defendant. I think you were right on your show a little earlier today. This witness may do it in.
Yeah, this could be the reason why Kouri Richins takes the stand, because it's a she said versus she said. And wow, did you see the reaction holding her head during that key testimony?
Absolutely agree. All right, stay with us. We need to take a break. When we come back, of course, we will be bringing you more of the Kouri Richins murder trial. That's next.
Tonight on Court TV.
I'm Vinny Politan. Welcome to Closing Arguments. We have a big hour ahead here.
Your deplorable actions are unforgivable.
The community still doesn't know how this Boston police officer died.
He can't prove one element of his case. It was a dramatic day, a dramatic moment inside the courtroom.
What's happening here?
It's unreal. Let me show you exactly what happened.
Closing Arguments with Vinny Politan. Tonight at 8/7 Central. Only on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Thank you for joining both of us. We want to go back to Utah now in the court for the murder trial of Kouri Richins.
Yeah, the children's book author is accused of killing her husband, Eric, with a deadly dose of fentanyl back in 2022.
Let's get back inside the courtroom together now. We are hearing from the defendant's former housekeeper. She is still on direct examination by the state.
Any more than twice before Eric died?
No, just the twice.
Before Eric died, have you ever been, other than those 2 times, to the Maverick and Drake?
No.
You just said Eric died in early March, right?
Yes.
Do you recall when you learned that Eric died?
It was one of Doreen's employees that had told me that Eric had passed away.
And do you recall how soon after Eric's death she told you that?
It was a day or 2 after.
Did you ever speak with Kouri Richins about Eric's death?
Yes, I did.
When?
A couple days after.
Where were you when you spoke with Kouri Richins the first time about Eric's death?
I was with my friend Nick, and we were on our way to do a UA for drug court.
Is Nick Von Savage?
Yes, it is.
And the UA again is a urinalysis?
Yes, it is.
So you and Nick were together. Were you on a way? Were you driving to the UA?
Yes.
When you had that conversation with Kouri Richins about Eric's death, were you on speakerphone?
Yes.
Could Nick hear the conversation?
Yes.
Did you ask Kouri Richins about Eric's death?
Yes, I did.
What did you ask her?
I said, please tell me these pills were not for him.
Did she respond?
She did.
How did she respond?
She said, no, they were not. Eric passed away from a brain aneurysm.
Did there come a time after that conversation where you asked whether Eric died from those pills? Or you asked Kouri Richins whether Eric died from those pills? Did there come a time after that conversation when Kouri Richins again asked you to purchase drugs from her?
Yes.
How did she ask you?
She asked me if I still had the hookup or my friend.
Scott, can I get 2-44? you look down that column labeled description, Ms. Lauber, do you recognize that as a text exchange between you and Kouri Richins?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Is this an accurate text exchange? An accurate depiction of the text exchange?
Yes, it is.
And did it occur on March the 7th, or sorry, March the 6th and into the 7th, 2022?
Yes, it is.
Does it accurately show the type of message and whether it's an incoming message or an outgoing message?
Yes, it does.
Does it actually accurately show the sending party, the from party, and the receiving party, the to party?
Yes.
Your Honor, the statement moves 2-44 into evidence.
Objection, Your Honor. The Celebrite extraction has not been admitted into evidence, and she cannot identify a Celebrite extraction where it came from.
Please.
There is a firestorm on social media. We are reading your comments. She is at Ashley Court TV, Matt Johnson News, and people are talking about whether or not they believe that this witness is truthful because she's the key witness for this case.
And she's more emotional than the defendant. Does that mean that she's stressed or there's some reason she's uncomfortable testifying, or is it just emotional? I think the defense is really going to let us know when they do their cross-examination.
I'm waiting for that cross because you know Kouri is writing a lot of notes and post-its to her attorneys. All right, they're ready. Let's go back in.
All right, Ms. Lauber, I'll give you the early warning. Just get close to the microphone.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It just feels like it's so
I know.
in my face.
You'll get used to it.
Okay.
Mr. Bloodworth, Ms. Lauber, you are still under oath. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Mr. Bloodworth, please proceed. We have 2-44R queued up. Would you like to publish that to the jury?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You hesitated. We don't have to do that. Did you want to go somewhere else first?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Ms. Lewis, any further record on this?
Nothing more for the record, no.
Understood. Let's publish 244 now. 244R, my apologies.
Ms. Lauber, you just testified that you had recognized a text exchange between you and Kouri Richins beginning on the 6th of March, continuing on to the 7th of March. Is this that text message exchange?
Yes, it is.
Now, Ms. Lauber, you had testified that Kouri Richins had asked you if you still had your hookup. Is that right?
Yes.
And is that the text message where Ms. Richins asked you if you still had your hookup?
Yes, it is.
And when you received that text message from Kouri Richins, what did you do?
I messaged back to her, text back.
And did you ultimately arrange to buy illicit drugs from Mr. Crosier the third time?
Yes.
After that, do you still have your hookup text exchange? Did you speak with Kouri Richins?
Yes, I did.
And what was that, about a drug buy? What was that conversation about?
That I could reach out to Robbie again.
And how did Kouri Richins respond?
Okay. Same routine.
Same routine. So, did Kouri Richins then provide you with money to buy drugs?
Yes.
How so?
In the house to Midway.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Wait.
hear you.
Sorry, what?
Did Kouri Richins give you money to buy drugs that last time from Mr. Crosier, right? I'm talking about the third drug buy from Mr. Crosier now, after Eric's dead.
Oh, no, she gave me, she told me that the investor would leave money under her doormat at her house.
The investor would leave money under the doormat of her house for you to buy drugs?
Yes, in Camas. Her house in Camas.
So, did you go to her house and pick up that money?
Yes, I was with Nick. Nick drove me.
Okay, is this the same Nick Bonsavage?
Yes.
That was in the car when you asked her whether the pills caused Eric's death?
Yes.
So Nick drove you from where?
Nick picked me up at my house in Heber, and then we headed to the backside of Jordanelle to the house in Camas.
Kouri Richins' house in Camas?
Yes, Kouri and Eric's house in Camas.
Did you check under the mat at the front door for the money?
Yes, I went to the door, looked at the mat, there was nothing there. So I kind of looked at Nick and kind of shrugged my shoulders and ran around to the back door to see if there was anything under the mat there. There was nothing there, so I ran back to the front. And I kind of threw my hands in the air to Nick, like, what do I do? And I went up and rang the doorbell. It took Kouri a minute to get to the door. She answered it. She told me to come inside. I told her the money wasn't there. I gave her a hug and asked how she was doing. And then I told her the money wasn't there. And then she asked if she could write me a check. So then she went over to her kitchen counter and grabbed kind of a book about so big and wrote me a check.
Did she hand you the check?
Yes.
Scott, can we bring up 5-31 for the witness, please? And it's 3 pages. If you could slowly scroll through so she can view all 3 pages, please. Ms. Lauber, do you recognize those 3 pages?
Yes, I do.
Do they depict the front of
we do have to take a break. We're going to hit the pause button. You're not going to miss a thing. Coming up, more key testimony from the state's star witness on the stand who claims that she gave the defendant some drugs. This is Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Matt Johnson.
And I'm Ashley Wilcott. Thanks for being with us, where we are in Utah this afternoon for more testimony in the Kouri Richins murder trial. Richins wrote a children's book to help her sons grieve the death of their father. But prosecutors say she is the one who killed him.
Investigators say that Richins spiked her husband's drink with a deadly dose of fentanyl while she was having an affair with another man. Let's take you back to court right now. A key witness on the stand, the family housekeeper, still on direct.
Do they depict the front of the check, the back of the check, and a deposit slip for the check?
Yes.
Are they authentic depictions?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves 531 into evidence.
No objection.
States 5-31 is admitted. Published.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, let's zoom in on the check, please. Ms. Lauber, is that the check that Kouri Richins wrote you that morning?
Yes, it is.
In the memo section, do you see where it says construction, clean, Midway?
Yes, I do.
Did Kouri Richins owe you any money for any cleaning?
No, she did not.
Did she owe you any money for any construction cleaning?
No, she did not.
Did she owe you any money related to Midway?
No, she did not.
Did she owe you any money that would make construction, clean, Midway memo make sense?
No, I never cleaned a house ever in my life for $1,300.
Okay. Let's go to second page, please, Scott. Is that the back of the check?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Third place. Third page, please. Okay. Do you recognize that as a deposit slip where you deposited a portion of that check and took out cash for the other?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Please explain how this came about.
I had to go to the bank and cash the check. I was in the negative, so they had me deposit some to clear up my negative balance. And then they gave me the remaining balance of $1,000.
Okay, when did you go to the bank in relation to picking up the check?
The day of.
So you picked up the check?
Yeah, that morning, yes.
Did you go straight to the bank?
Yes, I did.
And who drove you there?
Nick.
Okay. Do you see where the date says March 9th, 2022?
Yes, I do.
Is that the date that you picked up the check, went straight to the bank and deposited it?
Yes.
Deposited 300 of it and took out 1,000 in cash? Does that
Yes,
sound
I
right?
did. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Scott. Once you deposited a portion of the check at the bank, cashed the remainder, what did you do next?
Nick and I drove down Provo Canyon, touching bases with Robbie. He said it was taking longer than he thought, so Nick and I went out to a couple of thrift stores.
Where did you go to thrift stores?
In Orem County.
And you said you were texting with Robbie Crosier as you were driving again down through Provo Canyon and as you were in Orem
Same
County?
routine.
Same routine.
Yes.
Were you also texting with Kouri Richins?
Yes, I was.
Did, like before, you meet up with Robert Crosier at that same Maverick and Draper?
Same Maverick on 126, yes.
What happened when you met up with him?
Same routine, but a little bit different. We waited there for a minute. He left for 20 minutes, came back, and said he couldn't get his friend to answer the door if we wanted to follow him. So we followed him down the road to a couple of townhouses or duplexes. I didn't go to the door with him. We parked down the street where we could see what complex he walked into. And then we waited there about 20 minutes to a half hour. And I kept texting him, like, hey, this is taking too long. It's too late. I don't like sitting out here. Just wrap it up. Let's go. And then he texts back. He's like, no, I got my friend. He was asleep. I finally woke him up.
Okay, had you already given Robert Crosier money before he went into the townhouse?
Yes.
How much?
The 1,000. Well, no, it was only 900 because Nick got 3. I put 3 in my checking, my bank account, and Nick got 3, and then he got the remaining balance.
You know that math does not add up.
Sorry, hold on. Yeah, I put 3 in my account. Nick got 3, so Robbie got the remaining balance.
You got the rest?
Yes.
Can we call that 700?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I had to count on my fingers. I'm like, yes.
When Robert Crosier came back out of the townhouse, did he have anything with him?
Yes, he did.
What did he have with him?
A clear little baggie with 15 to 20 pills in it.
Same kind of clear little baggie as before?
Yes.
Were the pills round?
Yes.
Just like before?
Yes.
What was the color?
A little darker blue.
What did you do once you received the pills from Robert Crosier?
Left.
Where did you go?
Back up Provo Canyon with Nick. Nick had dropped me off. It was late. So Nick had dropped me off. Nick went home. I went into my house, texted Kouri, told her I have him. What does she want me to do with him? And then same routine back to the Midway house.
Did you text with Kouri Richins back up through the Provo Canyon?
Yes.
Towards Heber?
Yes.
And then you ultimately left those pills at the Midway house?
Yes, in the closet on the right above. Like you walk in the kitchen and there was a door put on top of the closet.
Was that the same closet where you previously gotten money from?
Yes.
After that, did you ever have any additional drug deals with Robert Crosier?
No, I did not.
Have you ever been back to that Maverick in Draper?
No, I have not.
So am I right that the only 3 times you dealt drugs with Crosier were the 3 that you just testified?
Yes.
And the only 3 times you've been at that Draper Maverick were the 3 times to which you just testified?
Yes.
Did Mr. Crosier continue to hit you up for more drug deals?
Later on, he did. He said that his buddy had some more, and if my friend needed any more.
When he told you that, what did you do?
I reached out to Kouri and told her, hey, my friend said that his buddy has more if your friend needed anything.
How did Kouri Richins respond?
She said no, her investor had left town.
Thank you, ma'am. I do not have any further questions for you at the moment, but I'm sure defense counsel will, okay?
Okay.
Key witness wiping away tears at parts of her testimony. I mean, it's been a firestorm online, and we want to connect with you. Make sure that you follow us at Court TV, at Ashley Court TV, at Matt Johnson News. Some of the people are writing, I was believing this lady at first, now I don't know.
And Steve has shared, Kouri's heart rate is bonkers. As you can see, her chest go fast. I hadn't noticed that, but I'm gonna look now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's bring in trial attorney Dwight Williams. Dwight, thank you so much for joining both of us. Always a pleasure to have you back on. Let me ask you, this witness, I mean, she has said, I sold fentanyl to the defendant. She picked it up in my driveway. If you're preparing for cross-examination, what kind of technique might you think you would use with this witness?
Well, the magic word of the day is credibility. At the end of the day, you want to tank this witness's credibility with this jury. I'm going to attack every aspect of what she previously reported to the police, what's in the charging documents, what she might have said in video interviews, and impeach the heck out of this particular witness. She is inconsistent already. The prosecution tried to do a good job of trying to eliminate some of the issues she's had in terms of forging documents and things of that issue. But ultimately, the defense team has an awful lot to work with here. Her credibility is key to defending their client, and she's got some pretty big issues.
Yeah, she does have credibility issues, Dwight. To your point, a lot of people online writing about the witness is compromised because she does have that immunity, and prosecutors were trying to get ahead of it before her testimony even began, to the meat and potatoes of it, talking about that she does have immunity and that she did have issues in drug court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's once again, there's just a lot of opportunity here for the defendant's counsel. I mean, she's got some good attorneys on her side, and I cannot actually wait to see how they do their job, their work, once they have this witness either later today or tomorrow. They're going to have a lot to work with. The witnesses you have, you don't often decide to have a good witness or a bad witness. This is the witness they have. She has some issues, and ultimately that defense team is going to have a very good time attacking her and really discrediting her. So it's just going to be an interesting next few hours or next few days.
Dwight, we need to take a break, but I have a really quick question for you. We heard testimony from this witness that the defendant actually provided this witness with letters of community service for her to provide to the court. That's called fraud. Is the jury going to catch that and hold that against the defendant, even though that's not one of the crimes she's charged with?
I think so. I think those jurors, they're sitting there. They've got no other distractions. They're not supposed to be on cell phones or have any other communication. They're interacting really with each other, during breaks and things of that nature, but not really supposed to talk about the case. So they're laser focused on not just the reaction of the defendant, but things that she bring up. Like, yes, she did actually commit fraud. By the way, she did ask this person for drugs. So it's going to be interesting. I think they are going to pick up on those things, and it's going to weigh in on how they decide this case.